Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're ready for another episode of the Bill Crane Report. My good friend Dwayne Weiss is here with me. And we're going to start the show off in a rather different fashion. I have this priceless antique, this beautiful piece of glassware. It's been in my family for a long time.
It's a treasure.
It's a treasure.
Absolute treasure.
It's a treasure. And we have enjoyed it. And just marveled at its beauty and its class for many, many years. And I thought, finally, I'm going to give this to someone at the next trivia luncheon we have as a door prize.
This is no mean feat. This is big time.
This is the real thing.
Oh yeah.
So, and let another family share it. But one of the things that has driven us crazy, and this, of course, is a centerpiece at my home, is who was the model for this artwork?
Obviously, somebody that is probably famous, femme de femme. Just there's no
Just the sensuality just pulses right out of this. Well, we've talked about this for years. We think this is probably 70 years old.
That's probably a pretty good guess.
Yep. So I said, well, I'm going to give it away, and that's it, and let somebody else enjoy it. Yet I was talking to an elder here in Norfolk, one of the oldest guys in town. And I'll tell you who it was. It was your friend and mine, Bucky Kaloo.
Bucky Ed.
Yep. And I said, Bucky, I've never asked you. Let me show you this piece of glassware.
That was a good source too. If anybody knew, Bucky
Yeah,
would
that's right. Bucky is right on top of things. Bucky looked at this, and he said, I know exactly who the model was. I said, really? He says, yeah, we're about the same age. I remember her as a teenager. This is her. I said, pray tell, who is it? He said, Thelma Ravinsky.
Yep. You can see there's a resemblance right
Yeah.
now if you look at
Now all of a sudden you look at it, and there's Thelma looking at you and giving you the old wink.
it. Yep.
Well,
She's immortalized in glassware.
that's it. So I immediately changed my plans. I'm not giving this away at the as a door prize. I have contacted Thelma's daughter, Judy, and I told her that I am going to bring this to her house, and she can bring this to Thelma. Thelma is in assisted living now.
She will be thrilled.
Well, it'll be like old times.
That's right.
The memories will come rushing back.
Oh yeah, it'll be.
So, Bucky, thank you very much for setting me straight. And I'm sure that Thelma will express some thoughts about this that
Oh, I'm sure.
will gladden my heart.
And God love you, Mr. Crane, for preserving the history that we so frequently lose.
This is almost something that the Hysterical Society should have.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that Thelma has it.
Oh yeah, she should be the keeper of it.
Yep.
Because obviously it's
So we'll have Thelma right here with us for the whole show.
good.
By gosh, by golly. Now, I must start off this morning. Every time I do a show, I have it ready.
Yep.
And then I look at the newspapers and TV the
Oh, yeah.
morning of the show, and here it comes again.
Everything changes today
does.
so fast.
Well, Governor Hochul from New York
Yep.
made one of the most absurd statements in her storied career.
Find that hard to believe, but go ahead.
She said yesterday, now, remember now, she has been at the forefront of welcoming in this crush at our southern border.
Yep.
She said with a straight face yesterday, we need to have some common sense regulations regarding the border, of course. So this is setting the stage for, apparently, President Biden going back to the exact same rules and regulations that President Trump had. Gee, what a surprise this is. Is it because there is an election coming, or is it because he finally understood what the problem is?
I'm going to guess the first. I'm going out on a limb there.
You're living dangerously, I'll tell you. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, Dwayne,
Yes, sir.
I have another thing to ask you here. We are entering the Chinese Year of the Dragon.
Yes, we are.
Did you do anything special to celebrate this?
No, I sent a card to my son's in-laws who were close to her Chinese, and my daughter-in-law is Chinese, and I wished her a happy New Year. Other than that, we didn't do anything.
Okay, because this Year of the Dragon, people born during the Year of the Dragon are believed to possess good fortune, power, and success.
The dragon is the top of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was the Year of the Rat or something.
I think I was too, something like that. Actually, it's quite in the Chinese community. It's very popular.
Oh, yeah.
The Chinese New Year or the Lunar
Yeah.
New Year. It's
Well,
actually not
you know-
just Chinese. It's almost all of Asia.
When I had season tickets to the Bruins many, many moons ago, I think I had them for about 30 years. And for you old Boston Garden fans, section 105, row E, seats 10 and 11 or mine. When this Chinese New Year took place, sometimes they had said the afternoon games. And after the game, I would walk towards my car, which I would park up towards the State House and walk down to Boston Garden. And a lot of revelry was going on in the streets and
Oh, yeah.
parades and all kinds of stuff. It was really interesting.
Drums and fireworks.
Yeah. Just a couple of snippets here, and we'll get into the good stuff. Interesting enough, the wags, the political wags, are talking about the President's State of the Union address coming up. And so they asked a surveyor to look at the different problems that the President is going to discuss. And the top three in the polling data I thought was interesting. Guess what number one was that they felt that he should discuss? Military strength and our military position around the world.
Okay.
The people are more perceptive than I give them credit for.
True. I would not have thought they'd come
I
up with that.
never would have thought that. Number two and number three, immigration,
Yeah, well, that's the same.
energy politics.
Yeah, that's same.
Bingo bango.
Yeah.
But I never would have expected the people. I guess They're getting the message about the Ukraine,
Yep.
about the Middle East, about Taiwan.
Plus, we have to be very careful right now that we've kind of become set into the doldrum. You know, I just read something a couple of weeks ago that how many new ships China has produced, warships, battleships, not battleships, they don't make them anymore, but
Right.
but
Cruises,
combat ships, combat ships. And the U.S. produced none.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
We used to be up here, now we're here, and the other countries are going up here.
Well, the Air Force is also in the same boat.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
Japan is producing warplanes like you wouldn't believe. China is.
China, yeah.
They're preparing for conflict.
Oh, you got to believe it.
And you know where our heads are?
In the sand.
Yeah,
If not someplace else.
someplace else.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's like we're dancing to the music, and we think the music is going to last forever.
Well, we're living in the old days, too.
Yeah,
That we're,
yeah. They wouldn't touch us.
they
We're
wouldn't-
too strong.
We're America.
Yeah, guess again. I hope when we have an administration, well, we're not going to have any change if Biden is reelected. But if Trump is elected, I hope he does more for the military than talk about it like he did last time. He really didn't do anything special about the military, but
Well, that goes back to what we talked about before. The Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces should have been a member of the Armed Forces.
absolutely, it should be mandatory. That if you're going to be our president and commander-in-chief, you have to be a veteran.
That's right.
No
It doesn't-
ifs, ands,
You
or
don't have
buts.
to have been a general or a colonel or anything else.
Or
At least
highly decorated.
Or
No.
just-
But have been in there.
took the oath and stepped up.
Exactly. By the by, this wasn't something I was going to talk about, but I love the informality of our show. We can just blast away.
That's right.
When do we reinstitute the draft?
When do we?
Yeah.
Bill, I'm not sure, but that's a problem, a big problem right now.
Huge problem.
Is
We can't, folks, we cannot bring our armed forces up to strength because kids, men,
yep.
well, women too, I guess, are not enlisting.
I said this. I talked about this one a couple times with Monica watching TV, and don't anybody take this wrong because it's not meant to be.
Right.
So, but it's kind of a fact.
I know what you're going to say.
When you start seeing over and over and over ads for wounded warrior, disabled vehicle veterans and stuff, and you got to remember who's watching this. You got young people watching these things, and this poor guy has been burnt from top to bottom. Another one says he's going to be crippled for the rest of his life. What goes through a young person's head? I don't want to be in that position. I'm not saying they shouldn't advertise, and it's not a fact.
Well,
But it is a fact. It can happen.
you know, because I've said it often enough, and I'm going to say it again. It is a disgrace.
Oh, I know where you're going with that.
We
Absolutely.
have all of these ads for veterans.
We should not have to have
Should
that.
not. The government should be taking care of these guys.
Yep.
They sent them to war. They came back damaged. The government owes it
There
to
should
take
not
care
be a
of them.
need for that.
That's right. There should not be TV ads begging for
That's
money
right. That's the other
for
aspect
homes
of it.
for the soldiers.
It looks like they don't have any help. They got to beg for money. That's just disgusting.
It is disgusting. It is absolutely horrible. Speaking of horrible, I got an ad, and I think Oh, I guess I probably didn't bring her with me. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Because I wasn't going to tell you who the store was anyway.
Okay.
But it was a store, a series of stores that sells appliances, refrigerators, stoves, etc. You know. Mm-hmm. And they advertised a big sale. Now, they do have some big markdowns, okay? Mm-hmm. And they have their own credit card.
Okay.
Boy, making it convenient for you to come in there and buy all that stuff. Would you care to guess what their rate is on the credit card?
I'm only going by one I got yesterday. It was 29.99.
That's it. 29.99. So here's
30%.
Here's little Bobby and little Judy. Mm-hmm. They're married or they're setting up housekeeping or whatever the hell kids do these days. Yeah, well, we've got to buy stuff for the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Well, oh, I can have a credit card from you people? Oh, beautiful. Give it to me. Clunk. Here, I'll buy $3,000 worth of stuff. Oh, we have to pay it off every month? Oh. So, well, I can't quite afford to do that, but I can make payments. 30%.
30%.
Bingo bango per year.
Those first payments, there's not much going off on the principal.
You better believe it. It's like a mortgage.
That's why they push them credit cards for their own credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, folks, I know that all our viewers and listeners know this, but just in case
Okay.
your grandson or your granddaughter or somebody else is watching this, credit ratings count. Don't screw them up. Because if you got a decent credit rating, you don't have to go out there paying 30% on the money you need. You can go to the bank and say, well, we need a washer and dryer and I need $1,000. And if you got a decent credit rating, they'll give you $1,000.
Sure, at 7.5, 8%.
Exactly, not 30%
Yeah.
from an unsecured credit card.
Yeah. I mean, and to your point, folks, boys and girls, if you screw up your credit rating, unscrewing it is not easy.
No, it's easier to screw it up than to
Very
get it
simple to
fixed.
screw it up. Just miss a couple of payments.
Yep.
And bingo bango.
And don't think they don't know it.
That's right.
Yep.
Barnes in Noble sent me a deal here for a Barclays credit card. And someplace in here, oh yeah, how about the balances will be either 19.24 or 30.24.
Yeah.
So guess what, Bobby and Judy, you're going to pay without a stellar credit rating.
Yeah. I see people at a casino trying to borrow money against their credit card.
Yeah.
Dumb.
How sad is that?
It is sad. It's just, you want to go over there and say, don't do that.
Yeah, wise up. Mm-hmm. Get out of this place. It's killing you.
Yeah, if you're going to borrow money against your credit card to play, you shouldn't be playing.
There was an article, and I don't know whether I have it with me. I may have it with me. Well, I'll thumb through here. But there was an article about gambling and how the casinos, the gambling houses, all the sports betting and all, would they say, don't gamble, be very careful what you do, and if you have a problem gambling, call 1-800-SUCKER. This article was in the Wall Street Journal, and it said that this woman had lost $500,000.
Oh, yeah.
And the casino actually reached out to her to help her? No, for a deal on more gambling. And here's what we can do.
That's
in other
unconscionable.
words, to pull you in back in. $500,000 she lost. Now, she had won that $500,000. She had a string of luck over like 4 days.
Yeah, well, you're gonna win sometime.
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you what, they weren't going to let her sit on her money.
Oh, no. Somebody said one time, well, they had won some money and they were getting all these offers from the casino, and they couldn't understand why. It's just because they want their money back. That's why.
Of course.
And they're not afraid to let you win because they know that you're not going to just walk away. We'll put it in your pocket and walk away and go home.
Yep.
You're going to stay there for a while, or you'll come back with that winnings and play it again and again and again. That's human nature.
She also said that she went and tried to cash in her credits,
Yeah.
and they talked her out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Boy, that's really helping the old chronic gambler, huh?
Yeah. I give credit for I'll get credit to Plain Ridge. Not only is everything you do, there's always the little, are you really gambling with your money? Are you safe doing this? Should you not be curtailing? They've got an office right there when you come in too for people you could sit down and talk to somebody.
Don't you think, though, that Plain Ridge is different? That it's more of a social
Yes,
event than it is
absolutely.
a gambling
Yeah.
casino?
Plain Ridge does not draw for the most
Right.
part, the big players.
Well, there's no big games there.
There's no big games.
That's right.
Foxwoods, on the other hand, and Mohegan,
They're serious.
that's some serious money down there. They will take, if you want to sit down and on a roulette bet and say the limit is $2,000 on a spin, and you want to put $20,000, they'll call the supervisor over and they'll talk to you and say, "All right, go ahead." But they'll stand there and watch you do it. But they'll take some serious money.
Yeah. Yeah, they reach out to the serious gamblers, yeah.
Plain Ridge,
And they got the card games, too.
Exactly.
And
and you can tell Plain Ridge is a
And the
different
dice.
scale and this is also a two-edged sword, though. Plain Ridge has a plethora of penny machines.
yeah.
I know you can say you can bet $3 or $4 a thing on a slot machine on a penny. You can, but you can also play a penny. You can play 5 cents. You can play 10 cents. So the little old lady that comes there and loves play, she put in a nickel 5 cents a time in it. She can play all afternoon for 20
When the
bucks.
bus takes people over from the senior center.
She can play all afternoon
Yeah.
for 20
Yeah.
bucks. If she might even win 10.
If that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's, oh man, you have to be careful.
Yeah, I play video poker, and I happen to like the selection that Plain Ridge has. It's got they've got everything that you want in video poker that is available, and almost every machine plays it. It's like a menu that you pull up. It's not like even Foxwoods used to have. Well, that one plays this game, and this one plays this game, and this one. You had to kind of look around, sneak around, wait for one to come open. You don't have to do that at Plain Ridge. You can just. Sometimes the machines are all full, but you can always pick your game. You can play a nickel, or you can play $5 on a hand. It doesn't. There's games, anything you could pick it in there.
And they have all the different poker games available too.
Yeah, one machine that they have. Oh my God, let's see. I'm going to say 15 or 20 variations of types of games.
Oh boy.
Then each game has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 variations of that.
Yeah.
And out of that, then you can pick what denomination you want to play on it. You see somebody that comes there for the first time and they go, "Oh my God, what is this?" And sometimes I say, "What do you want to do?" Oh, I just want to play draw poker. I said, all right, here we go. Just push that up there, push that there, back there, and you press how much you want to play in a hand. Oh, otherwise it can be
Yeah.
a little confusing.
When I learned to play poker, draw poker. Okay?
Yeah.
But playing baseball or hit the moon or
Oh, yeah,
all
that kind of
this
stuff.
crap, I'd played poker with some guys.
With video poker, there are very good games and there are very bad games on it.
Yeah.
And people that don't know what they're doing usually pick up something that's kind of stupid that shouldn't be playing. And I am much better at it than I used to be. Was mind your own business. Particularly, see some little lady next to you, and I say, "Are you sure you want to play that game?" Well, why? It's because you can't win. I said, if you do win, you don't win anything. I said, look at this game. Same kind of game, same odds, probably 10 times the payback on that one. Oh, I never noticed that. Well, they're counting on you not noticing that.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Well, I got this too. Now, this is very, very official looking.
Oh, yeah, I get those too. Yeah.
Important vehicle information.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh boy, must be from my insurance company
RMB,
or something.
yeah.
Let's see. Oh, it's from Vehicle Assurance Contract.
Extended warranties.
Yeah. And good news, they are cutting their rates.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Call immediately and you can get to hold your EVSP contract at the lowest program rates.
I've gotten those things where I haven't owned the car in 10 years.
Yeah. So I have some fun occasionally. I tell you what, they say, what kind of car do you have? I've got a 2008 Buick that's got 204,000 miles on it. And I'd like to get coverage because, very frankly, it's not shifting properly, and I can see a repair coming my
Coming
way.
up the road. You know.
And they,
Yeah, they don't want to talk to you.
nope. Ay. Dwayne, this is an interesting thing. Nestle's has warned that price increases are discouraging its shoppers. Now, what's interesting is they list the fact that Nestle's is increasing their sales in all of these markets they serve, except and they're not increasing their profits. They can't raise them fast enough to cover the profits they need. But what do you think their fastest growing product was last year? Pet care.
Yeah.
Increased 12%.
Yeah, you can see that. People are, well, look at the pet foods that are out there.
Yeah.
It used to be, it was Quibbles and Elpo dog food. You know?
Yeah.
Now, my God, you got the farmer's dog, you got Blue Buffalo, you got, it goes on and on and on.
On and on and on.
And then next time you open the Sunday paper and there's flyers in there, and there's one from Petco or the pet companies, just, I know you don't have a pet, we don't either, but just pick it up, open it up, see what the cost of those pet foods are. A couple of weeks ago, I just happened to, this happened over, that bag of dog food was $74.99 on sale. I thought, my
What's
God.
interesting too is the cost of a dog
Yeah.
is somewhere $600 or $700 a year.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Number 2 was confectionery, up 8.5%. Powdered and liquid beverages, up 6.4%. Milk products, up 6.1%. So the S Group, their product sales were up 7.2% quantity, yet the profits weren't there.
Yeah, well, I know cocoa, the cocoa beans and stuff they make
Yep.
chocolate of, has risen on the producer level a lot. In fact, it's not shortage, but there's no surplus. So years ago there was just abundance of it. But I think that like anything else, the habitat has been changed.
Yeah.
They go change it into fields. They can't even South America. They're not finding the guys going to go out in the jungle with a machete and hacking some of this stuff down anymore.
That's right.
They can't find people to do it.
That's right. Same thing with bananas. They go out and cut bananas at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bananas. I'm always amazed at bananas.
Yeah.
That you can raise something in Central or South America, raise it, package it, take care of it, put it on a boat, ship it here to a wholesaler, to a warehouse, to a wholesaler, and then get it to BJ's and they sell it for 33 cents a pound.
Well, or at Target, they sell them for 29 cents a piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even that.
I mean,
If
you're
you
right.
had to send that banana back to Uruguay or where the hell it came
Yeah.
from, it would cost you $10 to
At
send
least.
it back.
Yeah. It's incredible. I don't know how the mechanics of it work, but the bananas are about as reasonable as anything you
That's
can buy
right.
right now.
You're right, and they haven't hit that escalation
Right.
curve that a lot of
It's not a
foods
very
have.
glamorous meal.
No, they're not.
Bananas.
Remember when we were the kids, to hear these stories about they would find this tarantula or something in the thing about, and every time we had bananas, we looked and looked for one because we
Never found one.
We wanted a tarantula really bad.
Well, speaking of horrible things, Brockton High School is having quite a time.
My backyard.
Yep. So
got some stuff on
they've
it.
asked to have the National Guard sent in because they cannot control the school. And this just goes on and on. Shocking levels of chaos and violence at a high school in Massachusetts. That was the lead-in on television. Students at one high school are so out of control, educators aren't just calling the police, they're calling the National Guard. This was on Fox News. And it led into the story. So now it's in Governor Healy's lap.
Okay.
She's the only one that can call out the National
true.
Guard as the governor. Now, the school committee members are saying there is a disturbing influence in incidents related to violence, security concerns, and substance abuse. Now, the other thing that they were talking about, here. At least 20 to 25 teachers are calling out of work a day on the average,
That's right.
leading to 800 students roaming around the halls unsupervised.
Even if you had the teachers there, from what I understand from people that we know there, we lived there for a number of years, the place is out of control. And that old saying, the inmates are in charge of the institution, really fits there. Those, I don't even want to call them students.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about that,
I know it,
Dwayne, because you know what? We're going to be a couple of stinking old bigots.
Yes, we are.
But if we pointed out who the people are that are causing
the
these
trouble.
problems,
Yep, and if you don't identify the source of the problem, you can't fix it.
no, you can't. And there's a census of the military coming into the school, the mayor said. We're not trying to militarize our school. It is to make sure it's safe. Well, you know what? Don't they have a police force in Brockton?
Yes, they do.
So don't they call the cops when these children are misbehaving?
They do, but it's after the fact.
Yeah. But
Somebody's
I'm-
already been stabbed or robbed
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
beat up or something. Then
Raped or whatever.
then they call them. Then they come and they do this, and they maybe or maybe not take the perpetrator out. Maybe not.
They
You know,
may or may not get a kid that's willing to speak to them.
That's right.
I saw nothing.
I don't know nothing.
I don't
snitch.
know nothing.
Yeah.
I'll get stabbed if I do
Yeah.
talk to you. Go away, pig. Yeah,
That's pretty much what it's like.
that's right. But yet, if you actually sat down and said, look, here is who's causing the problems, you're a bigot.
That's right.
You're a bad person.
Yep. You
They're
don't
children, don't you understand?
don't dare say. You don't dare identify a problem today.
No. It goes right back to the parents.
I can see that the school administration, even the town, it is embarrassing to have to say that we need military in here to control our own school. That's not saying anything for the administrators.
Yeah.
That's saying you're not doing your job, and I can see there'd be pushback on that. And I can see that they think, well, that might not be the answer. And it might not. People have a kind of a warped idea what National Guards are and what they're not. You know, they're not going to be walking. Even if they came in, they wouldn't be walking the halls with M4s or
Hell no.
M16s or anything else. There's just somebody in a uniform and wearing boots walking up and down the hall, and they don't even want that.
No. And you know why, Dwayne? Because the kids will not so much attack, but they'll attempt to intimidate the National Guard.
Absolutely.
And then the National Guard has to do something or walk out the door. And boy, oh boy, if you touch little Bobby or little Susie, you're dead meat.
Yep. And they know that.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah. And this is, again, going back to the breakdown of the family unit.
Yep.
It is disgusting. Canada has a new climate plan. Guess what it is? Nuclear power.
Good for them.
If we hadn't listened to the little old ladies in tennis shoes that ran around opposing every nuclear plant in the country and making it 3 times more expensive and 7 years longer to build,
That's right.
we would be absolutely in the catbird seat as far as energy is concerned in this country. We'd have 20 nuclear power plants up and running, and we would be saying to the oil-producing nations, just keep that stuff. We don't need it. But no, we didn't do it.
Nuclear is a 4-letter word in a lot of these people's vocabulary. And I'm not sure why. And it used to be, you just couldn't do anything with nuclear because it was bad.
Bad, bad.
That's all it was. Bad. Then they discovered, well, maybe it's not quite so bad. But you still didn't dare speak up about it because you would be listed as a pariah.
Oh, yeah. At cocktail parties, if you said, more people died in the back seat of Teddy Kennedy's car
that's right.
than in all the nuclear accidents put together. You're a pig. You're bad.
You don't know. That's all. You don't understand.
Yeah, don't understand. Huh? So I think this is a great thing. And also, now in this country, nuclear power is, well, you know what? Maybe under certain circumstances, it would be a good thing to have more. Yeah, so the worm is starting to turn. But unfortunately, it takes 10 years to build a plant.
And that is major part of the problem because it takes so long. The permitting process is so complex and so long and so hindrance-ridden that the expense of going through the paperwork, the little minutia stuff, gets so high and it takes so long. And then the anti-nuclear people say, see, it took 23 years just to get that permit. Well, it took 23 years because your type of person kept throwing obstacles into it over and over and over.
What if we made it a national imperative to get nuclear power plants built in 5 years?
You know, I think that's probably the only way it's going to work.
And we said, look,
Yep.
scrub this, scrub that. Oh, there'd be rioting in the street, there'd be demonstrations and all that crap. But if you dealt with it properly, you know, and got us back on the nuclear track, it would be a hell of a lot better for this country than putting 78 windmills out in Nantucket Sound.
Well, I got no problem with them either, but you're right. The nuclear plant would be a hell of a lot more efficient.
Poof. Yeah, I mean, well, it's like the difference between night and day. Well, a Lowell High School sports game has been thrust into the debate over transgenders playing sports. In this one basketball game, this guy, and that's what he is, parading as a girl, injured 3 girls before Lowell finally said, we are forfeiting the game. We're not going to play with this kid. He was on the opposition team. Which brings up, once again, the transgender debate. You know, we lost control of this many years ago.
We certainly did.
When we said, look, it's okay if you guys get married or something like that. Instead of going, and by the way, lawyers will love this, instead of going with a social contract and have a legal document where a couple can agree to share ownership in a property, share income in a common ownership, each becomes each other's medical proxy, and just function together. And if they split, a sort of divorce. But no, we had to say, well, you know, this is a whole new gender.
Yeah. It had to be
and we swallowed that.
Yeah.
How about the little boy that got sent home because he wore the T-shirt to school? There are 2 genders.
There are 2 genders, yeah. And then he smart enough to put censored across it, and then that made him mad too.
Ay. So, guess what we're going to do? The state of Massachusetts is working up a whole new set of laws regarding sex education in Massachusetts. It's going to the Senate, and it's going to be called the Healthy Youth Act. And the law will make clear that sex and relationship in Massachusetts must cover LGBTQ plus identities and experiences while emphasizing consent.
I got some ideas about sex education too.
Let's have it.
First of all, for parts of it, the school's got no damn business in what you're teaching your kids. What you want to teach them about sex is between you and your family. The part of it they should be teaching is, you touched on it, is the legal factors, sexual harassment, rape, that aspect of it. ethic or moral aspect of it is none of their business.
That belongs in the home.
That's right. Because what is right for one is not right for the other.
That's right.
Now, I went to parochial schools, and for the life of me and Monica and I, we laugh about this. Can you imagine some of those little old nuns we had trying to teach sex education? Oh, my God.
Well, you know, it's not even
The boys
that.
have been rolling on the floor laughing.
It's the nuns should never be put in that position
No.
to teach about it.
No, they shouldn't, but
Yeah.
it was just the absurdity of it.
Sure. Yeah.
Of teaching it in the 6th grade or 5th grade or 3rd grade or whatever it is.
Mother Maria teaching.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ay, 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 ay.
Now, you didn't have, I'm sure, you might have, you went to public school. I didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything related to anything like that. So, but we knew what was what and how it worked.
You survived.
Yeah,
Yeah. It prospered.
it didn't. We weren't warped from it.
This business about, the bill also mandates that the words consent, gender expression, gender identity, and sexual orientation used in educational materials be consistent with definitions provided by the Commission on Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, and Questioning Youth. So, we've got the inmates running the prison.
Absolutely. That's the way things are turning.
Madness.
Yeah.
Absolute madness. And look, you
Bill.
know, the rest of the world laughs at us.
We're in the 80s group,
Yeah.
not the year.
Yeah.
I mean our age. So, to us, none of this makes any sense. And I'm not sure it makes sense to the people that are involved in it, most of them, because it's like the little fringe areas have taken over the mainstream. You know, it's the inmates running the asylum.
And it is madness when you've got, let's carry it a step further. Let's talk about AOC and a mob of hers, the Gang of Five.
Yeah.
Look what those 5 people, I guess they get 3 or 4 others that are on the periphery of
Yeah,
their
something
group.
like Ivana Presley. She wants to be in the group, but they don't
Yeah.
quite include her.
Yeah, she doesn't know. She's
Yeah.
very nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look at what they have done. They have taken Biden, and they have taken him and just turned him. Mm-hmm. I think maybe it didn't take a lot to turn him, because I think he's a very liberal guy who pretends he's a moderate.
Right, right.
But look what's happened to that little group, the Squad, and what they have done to this country
Yep.
in 3 years. Got to have open borders. Got to have this. Got to have that.
Ten.
It is the tail is wagging the dog.
Yeah, it's just not just that. I mean, it's like the LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah.
It's this, it's that. There's these little core groups have gotten so powerful. The MAGAs in our Congress today are so powerful they can shut off aid to Ukraine. It's dying. I mean, men, women, and children are getting blown up. You know. And yet they want to say, oh, no, I'm going to block that. I'm not going to let you have that. These little groups got so much power today.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter was another
I
one.
mean, they burned down cities,
Yeah.
and their expressing their frustration.
And then they find out they were 2 or 3 women that were siphoning off millions of dollars off it.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Harvard graduates sue the university, claiming rampant anti-Semitism has devalued their diplomas.
Somebody's always suing somebody about something. Somebody's always got offended. Somebody's always got slighted. Somebody got...
Did you happen to see the write-up of the cartoon that appeared in I guess a student publication on Harvard's campus.
Is this the one with the hand holding the noose?
The dollar bill
Yeah.
and all that. And,
It had a Star of David on the hand.
yeah, and he was pushing around a black guy or
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
something. You gotta be kidding me. That is not what should be happening on a university.
No, I am disturbed. I should sue because I'm offended.
Yeah.
That universities did not stay in their lane. You go to school, you should be going to school. I know this is an old school philosophy, and it's not the way the world is going. But if you went to school and you were going to be a historian, you studied history. If you wanted to be a physicist, you studied physics. Biology. We have mixed up so much crap into our education system.
Seems to me that liberal arts is a nothing course. But the idea behind it was to enlighten you and challenge you to think
Yeah.
and to seek out the answers on your own.
But it didn't turn out that way.
No, it didn't.
Partly is, and I'm a friend of mine. He has passed away. He's was a PhD, and he totally agrees that part of the problem is that we've got too many terminal PhD type people with degrees that doesn't mean anything.
They can't even tie their shoes.
They got to justify their existence.
Yep.
Now, if you got a university and you got 15 guys that are ancient Egyptian history, well, you're going to have to start putting courses in there and make somebody take those courses to justify these guys' existence. And then out of that group, there's going to be some saying, well, I thought that was pretty easy. I kind of like that too. I'm going to get a doctorate in that too.
Sure.
Then pretty soon you've got more of them. Then you got more. Now you've diluted your whole educational process. You're no longer putting out a crack physicist, but you're putting out a physicist that, well, he has a rounded education. He knows about who built the Acropolis. Well, who cares when
Yeah.
he's sitting in a lab trying to come up with fusion?
What has that got to
Nothing.
do with crime in the street?
That's why some of the universities in Europe, and particularly in like China today, are actually further ahead of us on some of these things.
It's enough to drive you nuts when you really stop and think about this.
Now, I can go back and I can remember a lot of classes that I had to take. I studied that stuff until the day I wrote the final exam. When I shut my paper up and handed it in and walked out that door,
Forgot it all.
I didn't even want to know to think about it.
And
5.
deliberately wiped it
Oh, yeah.
clean. Absolute nonsense.
I'm going to get a beer. I'm done with this stuff. Yeah.
I I went to college at night for my associate degree. And principles, I took a business management course. Principles of salesmanship was taught by a moron. Absolute moron. When the course was over, you got A's all. You know, if you showed up and participated in the class, you got an A. But I told him afterwards. How was the course? You know, everybody would say, "Hey, great, thanks, professor." You know, blah blah blah. And I said to him, "I really didn't learn anything." I said, "You know, you were disjointed. It was very hard to follow you. You kept on rambling on stories that were pointless, and so I'm sorry to tell you, but man, really didn't get much.
Yeah.
And he was appalled.
Oh, of
that I
course
would
he
say
is.
that.
You're not supposed to be saying that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that. No. I tell you. Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
Now, by
much.
the way, folks, for perhaps I haven't filled you in totally on Dwayne's background, but he's a jet setter, okay, and
Trendsetter, Sue.
and trendsetter too.
forget that.
Yeah, and if the truth be known, spends a lot of time away in posh places.
Oh, you wouldn't believe the places that we.
There we go. So I know that he is considering buying oceanfront property down in Florida. He's been talking about this. And Dwayne, I want you to look at today's Wall Street Journal before and then flip it over to after.
Going here today, gone tomorrow.
One day.
Yeah, what you see here is
I'm going to have,
Millionaires Row.
that's it. I'm going to have,
Billionaires Row.
I'm going to have you dub this in, Andrew. You've got beautiful homes. The ocean in one day has eroded them.
Yeah.
Just, it's amazing. And you wonder why insurance companies are pulling out of Florida
Oh, or
that don't want to
of
sell
places.
homeowners
Yeah, that's right.
insurance. Boy, oh boy.
it's closer to home than Florida. It's Cape too.
Yeah.
You see, last week there was a picture of a house in California sitting on the edge like that.
The mudslides.
Everything is gone. It's going right
Yeah.
down into the.
But by the way,
But they have to build them right on the edge because they got that panoramic view.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you flown into Charleston, West Virginia?
Yeah.
The ridges, it's just
Yeah,
It's the mountain state for a reason. You got ridges and valleys, ridges and valleys, ridges and valleys, ridges and valleys. And they build the homes on the ridges, up and down the ridges.
Columbiana, Ohio is like that.
Yeah.
But that's just across the border.
And-
You'll see a street. You want to get up to that street, but it's up here.
Yeah.
You can't find how to get up there. Yeah.
And when you get a calamitous storm in West Virginia, snow or rain or a combination of both, some of these houses just,
Yeah.
and yet the people rebuild them again.
That's right, in the same spot.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow. Andrew, were you winding it up? Okay. Folks, take a break. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Before you know it.